here we are. Me and you, nasty Tripix. We're inside of your base, and we're on a Rust official server. What server are we on? Do you remember?
We're on Rustified Medium.
Rustified Medium. We're on Rustified Medium. How long have you been playing on Rustified Medium?
I've been playing since Force Wipe on Thursday.
Okay. How many total hours do you have in Rust?
Around 2.6 thousand hours over the time span of 4 years.
Points 4 years. What was the first point at which you got into Rust? What was your first wipe?
My first wipe, I was on a modded server and I built a big twig base, not realizing I had to upgrade it and that people could just shoot it out. And then I met this Zerg that brought me in as their little child, and I learned the game off of them. And I was like, you know what? These people are fun, and this is the game I want to play.
Okay, alright. That's even better than I thought it would be. Much even better than I thought it would be. So you're playing on a modded server, you build your twig base, they come in, they kick your ass, and you're like, why are you guys beating me up? I'm just a noob. And then they're like, hey, let's be your friend. To my.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yep.
What's the name of that group?
They are no longer a group. Um, their leader was named Egg, and the co-leader was a girl named Carly.
When they took over your twig base and took everything you owned, were you mad? How about that? Were you mad?
I wasn't mad. I was more confused.
So, like, you built this base, and then they come in and they knock it down and they take your stuff. And do you go into voice chat or world chat? And you're like, hey, what happened? What am I missing here?
Yeah, I basically said, "How did you shoot my base down?" And what do I need to do to make it stronger? And then they taught me a little bit. I didn't know what a node was. They're like, just go hit rocks. So they watched me walk up to a random rock, which wasn't a node, and I would just hit it, and they would be like, no, 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 wrong node. And then, yeah.
And so you played with this group for a while. When was the last time you played with like that group?
It's been almost 3 years.
They're the ones who kind of showed you the ropes of Rust and brought you in. And I'm assuming, looking back on it, I would say I've been playing Rust for 2 years. I don't know what the game was like 4 years ago, but like I'm assuming you brought them in the basic resources and you helped them build up their base, and they were like, I I guess here's a question for you. How important was it to you at those initial states that they weren't assholes? That they were willing to try and show you the ropes and be patient with you?
Back then I was young, so it probably would have hurt my feelings more if they were, and they weren't. Which is the beauty about Rust is you'll run into some of those, and then you'll run into some great people.
All right. Okay. So they bring you in. You guys are together. How many wipes do you think you guys stuck together before the group started to dissipate? And a more broader question is, I guess, how did you guys keep in contact outside of Rust?
Um, at first, I think we used TeamSpeak. Oh, sorry, hang on. To your first question, we played for about 8 wipes, I'd say, and then like people slowly started to just disappear and not play as much. And then at the time, Discord wasn't a big thing, but we were using TeamSpeak, and then we got into Discord.
Okay. So, how did you find yourself on the server, Rustified Medium 2? What brought you here?
Um, what brought me to this server is that it's a bi-weekly server, and that I can farm for stuff like this, and then I can still have it for another week.
Okay, so you initially got in with a group. You learned the game. They taught you. Now you're on. This is a 1x. This is an official server. This isn't a modded server anymore. There's no freebies here. Everybody's working for what they got. And you find yourself here. Your initial training base is long gone. And you're here. Like, give it to me straight. How many friends do you got playing with you still?
Currently, only one ally.
Okay. So, alright. Can you walk me out front again? This is the point where we should go out front and take a look at what you've done here. Wood walls inside of stone walls. Alright, so we're back here in Rustified Medium 2. I think when we left off, I was asking you about what brought you to the server, because when you started Rust, it was 4 years ago. You had I built a little twig base on a modded server. A larger group. How big was the group? You think? What's a gen? How big was the group?
Uh, Around 8 to 10 people.
8 to 10. Okay. So you're on a modded server. You build your little base. A group of around 8 to 10 come in and knock you down. You say, "How did that happen?" And they're like, "Look, you gotta right click with your hammer and you gotta upgrade things to stone because I'm the big bad wolf and I'll blow your house down." And now here we are 4 years later, and you have constructed this on a 1x. Your telling me you've done it solo, sort of duo. You have a buddy who shows up sometimes, which I totally understand. I know exactly what you're saying. But you farmed at least 40,000 of the 45,000 stone that's gone into this base.
Oh, yeah.
And you have scratched out your existence here. We're a little south of Airfield. We're a little north of launch site, near Sewer Branch. What made you pick this point on the map? How did you find yourself here in R16?
Well, it was quite perfect, actually. You had Sewer Branch, a Tier 1 monument, which is great for starting out. You have the snow on both sides to go farming for nodes. You have Airfield, which is constant PvP in Tier 2. And then you have the launch site, Tier 3 area. Mediocre PvP, but there's still a decent amount.
Okay, so you log into the server. I'm assuming shortly after wipe.
Correct.
Okay, so you're watching wipe. You're ready when the server wipes. You log in. You spawn on the beach naked with a rock, just like everybody else. And you check your map and you say, I'm gonna check out this point because it's close to these monuments. It's close to the snow, which keeps people away, and farms a bunch of nodes, and I can set up a base there. And that's what drives you to this point?
Oh, yeah. I'm normally more of a PvP guy, but I kind of wanted to see what the farming life would take me.
And it was just you. You had a friend that might log in sometime, might help you farm a couple of nodes, but it was really just you who was going to build this base and scratch it out. Did you know Bose? Did you know anybody on this server when you were gonna set down stakes here?
I did not.
Grab the server out of random. You say, I'm gonna set my claim here, and you managed to build this. So when was the last wipe you played? Did you play the wipe before this?
No. I actually haven't really played. I played a little bit of Last Wipe, but I haven't really played for a couple months.
Okay. What brought you back?
Um, Other games are kind of just getting boring, and I figured I'd try Rust again and see how it went.
So you jump in here on this wipe, which started how many days ago?
Um, Currently, 7 days ago.
7 days ago. You choose this server, and you build this base, and you tell me a little bit about your neighbor to the east, Bose. That was the guy who kind of brought me on and brought me into this. Do you know Bose at all? Did you know him before this, or is it just like an alliance of happenstance?
I did not know Bose before this. It's actually quite funny how we met. I seen him building his base on day one. It was quite large at the time, and I actually planned on raiding him until the second day. I got on, and he basically had a compound, and his base was massive. So then I build up, and then he goes and he raids this base, but he doesn't get to TC. and all like the actual good loot because it was a armored bunker. But I had managed to gather enough materials to finish off the raid, and we kind of chuckled about it because I didn't tell him how much we got. He thinks we just wasted all of our boom on it. To this day, he still thinks we wasted around a row of gunpowder on it. And then we kind of did some softball trades, and we were kind of chill with each other ever since.
So at one point, Bose kind of outpaced you in the race to build the biggest base. And then you guys went on a raid together, essentially, and kicked somebody out of the area, I assume, and built a little bit of a kind of a sort of a foundation of trust based on that.
Well, no,
Maybe
this was
I'm overanalyzing.
me and my duo raided the base after.
Okay. I want to see your base. So you find your way out of the server. You pick the spot. Bose has another spot nearby. You guys find a way to trust each other, essentially, and you build separately. I haven't seen the inside of Bose's space yet. I've passed a lot of resources off to him. But I'd love to see a little bit about your base, and I'd like to see the view from the top.
Do you have any other questions?
Hello?
Hello.
No? I don't think so. Not at this time.
Alright.
I appreciate your time and your insight, Nasty Tripix.
No problem. Is there anything you want to say before this interview's done?
It looks like it's getting dark. If you want to cut the cameras, I'll go grill some meat over at my little base down the way.
You know what?
Free to come over.
I think I have a better idea.
Don't get sick, don't get strapped, don't get bronchitis. Hey. So this money shit, yeah, it's been on my mind, fuck your posse clip. I'ma pop off in time with the Tommy miss. Yeah, this how I slime, I'm out to see some tits. Yeah, your mommy is fine, hey.